Hey guys, K-Man Rocks 1998 42 here, back with something different. If you guys haven't been watching, I started a new series. Actually, I started a new series over on my new channel, K-Man Plays Sports. Link will be in the description for it. Definitely go check it out if you're into that kind of stuff. But this is basically a video that is going to be directing you to that area, and I thought I would do something special for it. So what I'm doing is I am showing you the bracket that I filled out for the NCAA Tournament Challenge. I actually have gotten some personal messages asking if I did it, and I did really bad. I'm just gonna say now, if you look, basically just all of the West is just blah. Yeah, all of everything is kind of just blah for me. So yeah, I'm just gonna walk you through what I was thinking when I chose these. So obviously Louisville versus North Carolina A&T, that's kind of a given. I picked Missouri over Colorado State because I like their shooters a little bit more. Colorado State's not as explosive as Missouri is, and I thought that Missouri had the edge there, but I guess I was wrong. I could have picked Colorado State. I was kind of torn between the two, but I just went with Missouri. Same thing with Oklahoma State and Oregon. It was almost just a flip of a coin just who I chose, Oklahoma State or Oregon, because Oregon has all the momentum coming in from the Pac-12 tournament, while Oklahoma State is a great team with Marcus Smart. Oregon did happen to win that game, and, now I'm regretting choosing Oklahoma State. St. Louis beating New Mexico State. What? Do I want it? No, I do not. That was random. St. Louis beating New Mexico State. Yeah, that's pretty simple. Memphis beating St. Mary's. Actually, I was really tempted to pick St. Mary's in that matchup, but Memphis has better defense and more explosive players, so I just went with them. Michigan State and Valparaiso, not a big question there. Creighton and Cincinnati. That could have been a toss-up. I went with Creighton because how I liked them at the beginning of the year, so I guess that kind of just carried over. And Duke and Albany. Duke obviously would win that. Louisville and Missouri, I've had Louisville winning that, which is probably going to happen. Oklahoma State and St. Louis, I had Oklahoma State winning, which really kills me, seeing as how they got knocked out in the first round. Memphis and Michigan State, I picked Michigan State, who is in the lead right now with, at almost halftime, as you can see from the score right here. So I hope that works out. And I picked Duke over Creighton. That was a matchup where Creighton is a team that really intrigues me. They're a good team. I don't think they're good enough to beat Duke. Oh my god! Oh my god! No! I don't want to. Okay. Louisville versus Oklahoma State. I had Louisville, going to the Final Four there. Wait, no, that's not the Final Four. I had them going to the Elite Eight. And then Michigan State and Duke, I had Duke beating Michigan State in that matchup. And then I eventually had Louisville beating Duke and heading to the Final Four. Now, if we head over here to the South area, as you can see, I picked Kansas over Western Kentucky. Pretty easy choice there. I picked North Carolina over Villanova. That was actually a hard choice for me. Villanova used to be a huge powerhouse, and so did North Carolina, but they both kind of fell off the map once their big recruits left. So, actually, Villanova really didn't have anybody huge. But North Carolina kind of fell apart. And, I just think they're a little more talented at this point, and I guess I was right. VCU is a great team. Akron kind of sucks. Michigan State is gonna beat, South Dakota State. That was just given. I thought UCLA could beat Minnesota because of, Shabazz Muhammad, but then I realized, I forgot that they're shooting. Oh my, you know what? You know what? Don't show this message again. Alright, alright. Yeah, where was I? I forgot that their shooting guard was hurt, so, that kind of failed on me, but Minnesota beat them, so that sucks. Florida and Northwestern State, not a hard choice. I picked Oklahoma to beat San Diego State, and I was wrong there. Oklahoma, I felt, was a more talented team, but I guess I was wrong. And who really didn't? Who? Raise your hand if you picked Florida Gulf Coast to beat Georgetown. Nobody raises their hand. That was just surprising to everybody. And Kansas versus UNC, I had Kansas winning that matchup pretty easily. VCU versus Michigan, which is a game that just ended, actually. I had Michigan winning. I thought they could outspeed and outmaneuver VCU's defense while hitting their shots, and I was right. They did a very good job of that, actually. I watched that game. They did a really good job. In UCLA versus Florida, I had Florida winning. I actually thought that UCLA versus Florida was going to be a great game because of the two, they're both perimeter shooting teams, so I thought it would be an explosive game. But we didn't even get to see it, so oh well. Oklahoma versus Georgetown didn't happen at all. We had San Diego State versus Florida Gulf Coast. I'm picking San Diego State to win that. If Florida Gulf Coast wins that, I give them so much kudos. Kansas versus Michigan, I have Kansas winning that. Michigan, though, after seeing their impressive performance today against VCU, I wouldn't be surprised if they did beat Kansas. And then Florida versus Georgetown, I had Florida winning that because I like the perimeter shooting of Florida better than the defense of Georgetown. Plus, Georgetown has a bad history with the tournament. And then in Kansas versus Florida, I had Florida winning. I don't think Kansas has enough explosiveness to beat Florida. So I have Florida moving on to my Final Four. Now we move down here to the ugly, ugly West. We've got Gonzaga beating Southern University, and that's basically all I got right. I had Pittsburgh beating Wichita State. Actually, Pittsburgh was one of my preseason favorites to win the national title. Well, that worked out really well. Wichita State beats them in the first round. Ole Miss beats Wisconsin. LaSalle beats Kansas State. That screws me over. I did pick Arizona to beat Belmont. Sadly, my least favorite team was one of the only people that won. I am an Arizona State fan, if you guys don't know. New Mexico and Harvard. I picked New Mexico. I was wrong. Notre Dame and Iowa State. I was gonna pick I thought I picked Iowa State, but I guess I picked Notre Dame. I should have picked Iowa State. I knew they were better. I don't understand why I didn't. And then Ohio State versus Iona, pretty easily is going to be Ohio State. I knew Gonzaga was going to be moving on to at least the Sweet 16. I had Kansas State beating Wisconsin, moving on to the Sweet 16 to face Gonzaga. But now that it's LaSalle and Ole Miss, I'm actually going to pick LaSalle to advance to the Sweet 16 to face Gonzaga over Ole Miss. In Arizona versus New Mexico, I had Arizona. I stick with that when they face Harvard. I think they are a much more talented team. And, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't a big New Mexico fan at all this year. And Harvard, I definitely don't think can beat Arizona. Iowa State versus Ohio State was the game I thought I picked. And Ohio State, I believe, is going to win that. A lot of explosiveness in that team. Gonzaga versus LaSalle or Kansas State. I have Gonzaga winning either way. Gonzaga is too talented of a team this year. I think this might be their best team of all time, which is it's pretty big seeing as how they've been in the tournament almost every year of their existence. Arizona versus Ohio State. Ohio State, I have winning that. I don't think Arizona can beat Ohio State at all. And then Gonzaga versus Ohio State, I have Gonzaga taking that matchup right there. And over here at the East, Indiana versus James Madison. I have Indiana winning that matchup pretty easily. NC State versus Temple. I had State winning that, but I guess I was wrong. NC State with C.J. Leslie and Purvis I thought was going to be good enough to take down Temple, but I guess I was wrong. UNLV and California. I was really tempted to take California in this matchup, but I didn't. I took the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and I was wrong. Syracuse easily beats Montana by, like, a lot. By 50-something points. Butler beating Bucknell. That was actually a tough game for me to call, because Bucknell is actually, if you look at their track record, well, I guess you can say the same thing for Butler, that they're Cinderella stories. Marquette beat Davidson barely by 1 point. That would have hurt me. Illinois beating Colorado. Illinois is a very talented team this year. I believe they would have done well if they would have been put in a different seed or a different region. Miami easily beating Pacific. Nothing too surprising there. I had Indiana beating NC State, and now that Temple's there, I still have Indiana beating Temple. I don't think Temple is good enough to beat Indiana. They're too talented of a team. I had Syracuse beating UNLV, and I stand by that when Syracuse faces California. I think Syracuse is also very talented. In Butler Marquette, I put Marquette, but I'm starting to change my mind. I'm leaning more towards Butler now after seeing Marquette play against Davidson. I didn't like what I saw from their team, so right now I'm leaning towards Butler, but on the sheet I have Marquette. And Miami versus Illinois, I have Miami. I think their defense is just, I think they, blah, blah, blah. Their defense is just way too strong, for Illinois to handle. Indiana versus Syracuse, I have Indiana winning that. Indiana's a really talented team this year, if not the most talented team. I have Miami beating Marquette, pretty easily. I don't really see anybody who would say that Marquette could beat Miami. And then I have Miami beating Indiana, which is a huge turnaround. Indiana, most people are picking to win the national championship this year. Them and Louisville are the two most common. And I don't know, I just feel Miami's more talented this year. I live in North Carolina, so maybe it's just me watching the ACC too much and knowing a lot about Miami. But I think they're really talented and I think they could go far. So yeah, I have my final four. Louisville, Gonzaga, Florida, and Miami. Louisville versus Gonzaga. I picked Gonzaga. I think they're, what's his face? Their center is really talented, and I think he can help Gonzaga withstand Louisville's pressure. And Florida versus Miami, I picked Miami because the defense always beats the offense, and Miami's a purely defensive, well, not purely, Miami's a very defensive team, while basically all Florida has is perimeter shooters, which is not going to be good for Florida. So I picked Miami in that matchup. And then Gonzaga versus Miami, I picked Gonzaga to win the national championship. Gonzaga's a very talented team. Like I said earlier, this might be the most talented team they've ever had. And I picked the score of 77-69 for Gonzaga to beat Miami. So yes. That's basically it. I wanted to get this video out to tell you guys about my new channel. It will be in the description. It's called K-Man Plays Sports. I'll be posting a bunch of football and basketball and baseball and sports video stuff up on that channel over there. So if you want to, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, go check it out. If you're not, you're welcome to stay. I'm still going to be doing my regular uploading schedule on this channel. So don't worry about that. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys, and I will see you next time.